Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to episode 8 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean. So, last we left off, we had an interesting little conundrum. Apparently we have a stand that is a group of plankton that all bunch together to create the main stand form. We don't know the user, but there's apparently one person who wasn't with the original group who went out to the farmlands from the prison's main building. And I actually looked back on that, and I found out exactly who it was. It was the one girl who has like the purple hair over like the blue headband or hat or whatever, and the yellow tank top. She was not there when they left the prison. In fact, I don't even think I saw her there in the crowd when I was looking when they were at the prison. So she has to be the stand user. Now it seems that Atroe is dead, but I don't think she is, because again, she's in the opening. She's got to be one of the main characters because she's shown as such in the opening. So it's going to be interesting to see what the deal with that is. But otherwise, I'm just excited to see more of this. I'm excited to see more of Jolene and Aramis working together, and more of where this bizarre adventure goes, along with just whatever is going on with our current main baddie, and what his plans are for using Jotaro and Star Platinum. We shall see. In the meantime, we're just going to get this started, hope for the best, and see what this episode has in store. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, this answers a lot, and this clears up all the confusion I had, because after Atro died in the last episode, I was kind of confused, and it was like trying to figure out like how she could be brought back, like, because I was thinking like she's in the opening, she's gotta be there, but no, apparently Foo Fighters has possessed her body, so that's how she is still there. Now, going forward, I'm going to probably refer to Foo Fighters as they, using they, them pronouns, because Foo Fighters is a colony of plankton, as in multiple beings, with kind of this hive mind forming into one. Therefore, I think referring to them with they, them pronouns makes the most sense, logically speaking. And, you know, Foo Fighters seems to go with reason and logic, so it works out. So yeah, this episode definitely, it definitely, like, delivered on the horror themes that were present in the cold open of last episode that I talked about. There was definitely a lot more of that in this one than there was last time. And we got to see Foo Fighters' full abilities and kind of the extent of their weaknesses, and it's a really interesting stand. Honestly, I think I would probably say that Foo Fighters is my favorite stand thus far in Stone Ocean, just because of how unique and interesting it is. Yes, we've seen stands that have multiple little bodies before. Shigechi's stand Harvest in part 4 had multiple little. Would you consider them bugs? What would you consider them? But multiple little bodies to them. Obviously, there's Sex Pistols with Mista in part 5. So it's not the first time there's been a stand with multiple bodies. That's not exactly unique, but the way it's handled, the fact that it's a living colony of plankton brought to life through these discs, and that it was that they were never truly loyal to Whitesnake. Instead, just were only serving him because of their thankfulness for being brought to life and everything. It's really interesting. They're a really interesting stand. It's also not the first time we've seen a stand that pretty much operates on its own. I believe in part 3 there was one called Anubis that was basically a stand that controlled its user, and it could switch users at will that way. It was basically a sword, a living sword. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, so it's not the first stand that is just a stand in control of itself without its own straight up user. So I'm definitely interested to see how Foo Fighters works along with the dynamic of Jolene and Hermes. We got to see a little bit of it at the end of this episode, especially with the fact that Foo Fighters definitely has to get more like accustomed to pretending to be a human here. I do really feel bad for the prisoners who died there, especially Atro. It seems like she was actually a fairly nice, quiet, cutesy, shy girl. And she's in prison because she apparently kidnapped someone, but not out of like necessarily harmful intent or anything. Apparently she always had a dream of wanting to be kidnapped herself, so maybe that was like some way of working towards that. Maybe her thought was that getting imprisoned would be a similar feeling. What is it called? Hold on, let me check something real quick. There's a word for this that that really makes me think about it. Stockholm Syndrome, that's what it's called. I'm wondering if it's some kind of like extreme Stockholm Syndrome where like she believes that if she's like kidnapped or captured, she'll fall in love with her captor or something. Something like that. I'm wondering if it's some kind of Stockholm Syndrome like that. But either way, she definitely didn't seem like an altogether bad person. And it really sucks that she had to die so violently, too. And then the other girls, like, yeah, they were a little aggressive, and we don't know what they were in for, but they also didn't necessarily deserve to have all the moisture sucked out of their body like that. That's horrific. That is a genuinely horrific way to die. I've seen it in a few different things, surprisingly. And it's always freaking terrifying. The idea of basically being turned into an instant mummy like that is horrific. So I do genuinely feel bad for them. And I was right about which one was the fake, but I did not expect the actual truth behind it. Because, see, I looked back on the last episode, and I went to see which one wasn't there. And yeah, it was the girl with the yellow tank top. And so, yeah, I knew she was the fake. So when it was, like, revealed, it wasn't that big of a surprise. But then it's revealed how Foo Fighters created that body. And it's, like, using the flesh from the male victims who had come before, and it's like, oh, that's horrific and gross. You used the flesh from the corpses of two random male inmates you killed to create this fake female body to hide yourself in. Okay. Luckily Foo Fighters is on our side now, so that's good. But yeah, at the end we also see Whitesnake, and apparently see Whitesnake's user, this Father Pucci guy. I've seen not art, but like visuals of him before, I guess you could say. I don't know much of anything about him. Based on his name, I assume he's a priest. Father Pucci. And prisons usually have some kind of priest working there to work with the inmates and stuff. That's very common. So it wouldn't be out of the question. So, yeah, that's interesting. If that is the user of Whitesnake, everything implies it's gotta be, right? Like, we see Whitesnake looking over the scene in the shed, and then we see Father Pucci afterwards bent over in the same position, the same place. So it's gotta be, right? But he doesn't seem to know that Foo Fighters is in Atro's body. He just noted that there were 3 survivors and all. But at the end, he did notice the finger blown off with a little bit of plankton in it and whatnot. So he might figure it out. He probably will. He is definitely our biggest threat as of the moment, though. Whether or not he'll become the final enemy is up in the air, but we'll see. We also found out at least part of his plan. He didn't want Jotaro's discs for the stand, which is really surprising. He wanted the discs for Jotaro's memories, because apparently Jotaro has some memory that he specifically wants. So the stand was just useless to him. So he doesn't mind that it was stolen. Or I guess he doesn't really need it, so maybe he doesn't even know. I don't know. You know what I mean. So yeah, that's going to be interesting to see how this comes into play. I'm definitely invested, though. And also, like, I was looking at I was looking through the episode to get the thumbnail and everything, as I typically do. And when I got the thumbnail that I chose, I noticed that Atro's body is a lot more muscular than I thought it was. I thought she was actually a little thinner than the other characters, but she actually seems to have a similar muscle definition to Hermes. So that's actually a little surprising, because Hermes is canonically stated to be well muscled. Like, that was stated in episode 1. So that's pretty interesting. And I'm all for it. You guys know I love you all know that I love muscular ladies. So I'm all for it. Although, of course, as we know, it's just the body being controlled by Foo Fighters, but still. I'm all for still seeing a nice muscular body. I don't mind if it's inhabited by a colony of plankton. But yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where this goes next. This ending with showing Father Pucci is very, very significant, obviously. Like, they made a big deal out of it, just in how it was showcased and all. Going back through this, yeah, the guard asks him if he's worried about the inmates, and he mentions he's staying until he gives a sacrament on Sunday. So that's clearly going to be a big deal when that happens. He then looks kind of towards the camera before "To Be Continued" pops up. So they're clearly making a big deal out of his reveal. So I think he's gotta be Whitesnake. Obviously, if you know, don't tell me. If there's anything more to this that I just don't know yet, do not tell me. I don't want any spoilers. But yeah, I'm very, very excited about where this is going. I'm very much interested. And yeah, these episodes, these past two with this little mini arc, have definitely endeared me to Aramis a lot more. I recently posted this thing on social media showing like all my favorite characters from each part. I posted this a while back, but posted a update to it like just yesterday, I think, and I included Aramis in it as of right now. She's my favorite character, and this episode definitely continue to confirm that for me. And as I said when I posted those, that could change. There's 12 episodes. We've still got a few more to go. That could definitely still change. We'll have to see. But in the meantime, tell me down in the comments below, with no spoilers, what did you think of this episode of Stone Ocean? Tell me what you think of Foo Fighters joining the team, what you think of this reveal of Father Pucci, and just overall what they're doing with all of this. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.